Hello everybody, here we are tonight celebrating NHL greatness as Connor McDavid has hit 1,000 career points. Probably just going to be talking a lot about McDavid in this video. So before we get started with it, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. Being said, let's get on into it. So number 97 has hit 4 digits for his career and now has joined an exclusive list of players as he is the 4th fastest player in NHL history to hit 1,000 career points. The 3 guys in front of him being Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Mike Bossy. 3 guys that are just so important to the game, it's hard to put into words what we've seen. And I know that McDavid didn't do it as fast as him, but I think that, again, being part of that group is certainly something to talk about here, as he did it in nearly 650 games, a little bit over, but still, the numbers are so impressive, and we've seen this dominance for a while now. He is not even in his 10th season, but has achieved so much in his career already. He has led the league for points 5 times already. It's a stretch of 5 times in 7 seasons, mind you. The first time being his sophomore season in the league. And he has had so many good seasons along the way. You look at that shortened year where we played 56 games, he had like 105 points in that span. You look at a couple years ago, he had like 160 points with 64 goals in that stretch. And then last year, he had 132 points on the year. 100 assists in that season. He was better than Joe Thornton's year where he had like 96 assists, which is something that had been talked about a lot. Again, putting up big numbers. And it's not just the regular season either that he's been able to do this. During the playoffs, he's got like 120, close to that, points in the postseason and about 75 playoff games. So this is where you see a player that's already shining during the regular season, shining in the most important stage. And he had some good series and some big moments. Maybe his team didn't win, highlighting the 2022 Western Conference Final against the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, the Oilers got swept, but McDavid tried to do his best to get his team to the win. And then last year in the Stanley Cup Final, might have had a couple of pointless games in that series, but had multiple big nights in that series. I think he had 2 games where he had 4 points in those. There was that 8-1 win over Florida that was certainly something. And this is just wild to see, and you know more is going to be coming here. Even if you circle back to just like the regular season, he, by the end of the year, if he gets to 100 points, would be in the top 70-ish in the league. And you know he's going to be climbing, getting closer and closer and closer to some of these iconic names in the league. Even if we were conservative and said that after this season he had like 5 100-point seasons in a row, he would be near the top 15 in the league for points in NHL history, the entirety of the league, and he would be in his early 30s, giving you an idea that he'd be relatively close to guys like Sidney Crosby, who is viewed as an all-time great. Maybe not by the people who don't like Sidney Crosby, but Crosby certainly has had an impact in the league as he is top 10 in points, a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, and somebody that has been viewed as one of the faces of the league. Crosby and him in the 2017 Stanley Cup Final, that being McDavid and Crosby, would have been electric, but we can't go down that rabbit hole. We're going to circle back to something, I guess, that is going back to tonight, where you see the game against Nashville. This is something that will probably get glossed over in a year or two, but Nashville is a team that is in the middle of a rut, a terrible start to the season that expected to be much better. They get this cherry on top, if you will, of McDavid being able to have 1,000 career points against them. So they're going to be looking back at this and saying, yeah, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And I feel really bad for Scott Wedgwood here, as he has to be part of NHL history where he's going to be clipped there for McDavid's 1,000 career point. But you know what? There's been a lot of goalies in his career so far that he's been able to haunt his reign of terror, if you will. And there's going to be so many more along the way. They're going to be saying, I wish I never had to play number 97. But yeah, just one of those deals where they had a lead. McDavid got that game-tying goal. And of course, the Oilers end up going on over in the win in overtime. Nashville probably looking at this and saying, this is not a night to celebrate. Meanwhile, you're seeing the Oilers in the NHL social media feed just go crazy with the 1,000-point post for number 97. Now getting back to McDavid and all the things that we've seen so far, massive years. And you really wonder how much further he could go. I don't think he could go much farther. There's been years where I thought this is impossible. There's no way he can keep up this pace or hit 100 points in that shortened year. But he went out there and did it. And I'm kind of wondering, could he do something crazy like hitting 200 points in a season? I know that seems so unrealistic and it probably will never happen, even with somebody like McDavid. But you just understand that he is one of those players that can kind of push the boundary for what has been seen as impossible and make it the norm, really just for him or a handful of other players. And we have to be just watching this, you know, with our eyes constantly glued onto the screen, because he could have a night where it's going to be a 5 or a 6 point night, which pushes him again closer and closer towards the top of the league. He's already got more points than guys that have been around for a long time, that have proven themselves and may end up going on to be Hall of Fame players. And he is still, again, having that success and getting more and more hungry to try to go out there and do other things that aren't even just individual based, but team based. And that's kind of one of those things that I think is nice too. Going hand in hand with McDavid's success is a team success. He's revitalized the Edmonton Oilers. It's not just all him either, but multiple playoff trips, 2 trips to the Western Conference Final, almost said Eastern Conference Final. Of course, too, the fact they made it to the Stanley Cup Final last year, trying to go out there and maybe win a division title for the first time since the mid-'80s. I know that's kind of a weird thing to throw in there, but in general, it is something where you already had a truly iconic, the most iconic player in NHL history for one franchise, and they get blessed with another guy that is a number that's just too different from number 99, and it's not fair, but we're getting to watch this as fans, and I feel very ecstatic about it. Growing up watching Crosby and Ovechkin, I was ecstatic to see them, but McDavid was pretty close to my age, and to kind of watch him in the early stages of his career just take that next step and be one of the better players in the league almost instantly, it felt like, within a couple of years, it just is impressive. So if you haven't realized by the end of this video, I am going to recognize greatness, and I know some of the people that might not be a big fan of the Oilers or the fact that McDavid hasn't won a championship, they can get over it. McDavid is going to be one of those players we talk about for decades to come as a pivotal piece for the league, as he is a literal highlight reel and a guy that I am hoping is able to get a championship going back to Alberta, not for the Flames. Again, that'd be kind of weird if he ended up playing for Calgary, but for the Oilers. And in general, you just wonder how many times more is he going to win the Art Ross? How many more individual awards is he going to get? And how far can he push this team? So anyway, what are the boundaries for Connor McDavid in the coming years? Where do you think he finishes top in points all time? And what more do you expect from him at the end of this season? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you love hockey, all right? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.